Well, Mr. President, distinguished members of the Senate, the House, leaders of organized labor, industry, administration officials, professionals in the field of safety and health, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Labor Department and to our signing ceremony. Through the years, federal legislation has been marked by some truly milestone measures in the field of worker protection. When you think back, there's the Social Security Act with its provisions to provide a cushion for various kinds of economic adversity, the National Labor Relations Act with provisions protecting organizing rights and concerted activity, then the Fair Labor Standards Act with provisions to prevent abuses in hours and conditions of wages and work. Well, through all this period, there had been, it seems to us, a gap in worker protection, namely with regard to his safety and health. Now, it's rather curious that more attention hadn't been paid to this subject earlier. Through the years, a number of workers were killed, were injured, or fell ill due to working conditions on the job. But it's only been in the last few years that there has been special concern shown for federal legislation in this subject area. And there are probably two fundamental reasons for this almost sudden surge of concern. First of all, we're a progress-minded nation. And I think it began to dawn on us a few years ago that in the area of workplace safety, we were backsliding. That in fact, as our bar chart, our blue bar chart on the left over here shows, that since 1958, the safety conditions had worsened in the American workplace. Well, the conclusion was inescapable. Something had to be done. And then, too, the last few years have shown birth of what might be called a new national passion for environmental improvement. When you come to think of it, what environment is more important to 80 million working Americans than their workplace? Aside from their homes, this is primarily where they spend their time. So this bill that we have before us today constitutes another piece of landmark legislation in the area of worker protection. We believe that the nation should be proud of this bill, and there are a number of here particularly that should have special pride in their participation in it. Men like Senator Williams and Congressman Daniels and Congressman Williams-Steiger, who worked so hard on it. In fact, I don't think Williams-Steiger's had a sit-down lunch since this thing started working its way through the congressional mill. When this thing was triggered originally, probably you would have to say by the President including reference to it in his initial message to Congress calling for such legislation. And last year, a number of us in the Labor Department felt the lash of then Secretary Schultz to get on with this thing, and he played his role in it. Secretary Richardson got more of a health component into this bill than in any of the previous bills introduced of this nature. Under Secretary Larry Silberman worked feverishly and diligently to make this a strong and widely supported bill. So this bill opens up a whole new vista for the Labor Department. From this day forward, the occupational safety and health of the American worker becomes a top priority objective for us, and we plan to launch the administration of this act with all the vigor and momentum we can generate. So, Mr. President, the bill you have before you constitutes a landmark piece of legislation in our judgment. It's one that in which you can take considerable satisfaction and sign with great pride.